Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dream Star Grand Prix 2025 daily review series. We're talking day 5 and day 6 of the Dream Star Grand Prix. Obviously, we have been doing the double days for the past couple weekends due to the shorter number of matches, the video on demand sentiment, and so on. But with 4 matches to talk about, shouldn't be too long a review. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Thank you, everyone, for joining me here for another edition of the Dream Star Daily Series. I appreciate it as always. The Dream Star is in a very interesting spot, right? With the 5-star going on, I think, you're going to see the Dream Star really pick up once the 5-star ends next weekend. They have one final show before the end of the Dream Star after these two. But hey, we'll talk about the 4 matches. That's what we're here to do. We're going to talk about the shows from Saturday and Sunday, 2 matches each. Simple as that. We'll give you the MVP stuff and so on and so forth. Like I said, we won't do a stats update really until the next Korakuen. I think that's really when you want to look at the stats, but we'll look at the MVP race and stuff like that along the way. Hopefully that helps you kind of, keep up of how I'm feeling on the tournament, because that's ultimately what we're doing. We will look overall at the points as well, because I think, seeing how the brackets turn down is always important. But I'm recording this very late at night after the Dream Star show ended, after the 5-star show ended. We're going back and forth. So, with that being said, check out later today the 5-star Grand Prix Day 11 review will also be up. So, if you're following along with that as well, that will be up later on today. It is recorded, ready to go. We're just releasing them in time. Big time stuff going on there. If you haven't check out the 5-star joshi show from this past Friday. Big time return here on the channel. Plenty to talk about. Marigold versus Marvelous. If that intrigues you, that was a lot of fun talking about that show overall. You can also check out day 10 of the 5-star Grand Prix as well. But with that being said, let's get to some tournament action. Let's talk some Dream Star now, shall we? Love talking the Dream Star. And here we go. So we'll start with day 5. Day 5 was 2 matches. This was part of the My Sakurai Homecoming show. So neither took the main event on these shows. It was the My Sakurai main event, of course, instead. But what we did have was MIRAI versus Nagisa Nozaki. These two like to have a lot of fun with one another. I think that's kind of my big takeaway from any time these two face off. I think MIRAI and Nozaki have a good time. I think Nozaki kind of really likes working with MIRAI because it can be a little silly, can be a little serious too as well. We had an into the chairs moment, as we often do in many, many heel matches these days. But this was an interesting venue that kind of played to the match, really. So this was a stage. If you haven't watched it yet, it was a stage. So there was a pedestal where you could fall off of and things like that. And they were playing on the stage. And at one point, they kind of go behind the stage on the chair tosses and so on. If you've been following with MIRAI and Nozaki, they have this point where Nozaki's been using this cart that she pushes into the ring post and MIRAI goes crashing into. They played that up once again. Funny spot every single time, but MIRAI was able to flip the idea later on in the match, which I thought was a lot of fun. MIRAI was continuously working the leg of Nozaki, something she continuously sold throughout the match, but Nozaki was able to get a sleeper on to try and turn things around. But MIRAI, focused on that leg, was able to again continuously attack the leg. There was a big time kick, Nozaki's signature kicks, but that got a kick out of MIRAI. At one point, there was just a great submission. She was just taken down Nozaki in a big way, which I thought was obviously important to the match. It was interesting because Nozaki had to get desperate in a way that maybe you didn't expect her to later on. They went back outside. Nozaki throws MIRAI back into the chairs, but MIRAI is able to then throw Nozaki into the chairs, and that led to Nozaki eating the card off the post, and the countdown is happening. You're feeling the ring out coming, and it's like, oh, here we go. They are on the outside, and Nozaki shoves Mirai off of the stage. Off of the stage at like 17. And Mariah's like, oh my God, I got to climb back up here. Nozaki gets back in the ring. Mariah can't get back in the ring as she's trying to climb up the stage and then back in. And that gives Nozaki the 2 points. Listen, I'm not big on the ring outs often, but if you're going to use the venue with the big stage, with the big fall off to get that, I'm kind of into it. Listen, this match was fun for what it was. I don't think it's a blowaway match by any means. It's not going to make any lists or anything, but I have fun with it. And I think that's really what it comes down to. Sometimes you just want to have fun. And that's what this match certainly was. And the crowd was into it. So that was a win as well. But let's talk about the best match on the entire review here today. That was none other than Utami Hayashishita versus Seri Yamaoka. I feel like I've done a lot of these reviews where I've just said, hey, Seri Yamaoka is incredible. Well, she is. So that's why. Seri Yamaoka, Utami Hayashishita, first time ever. I was fascinated to see how this match would go. You know, it's not in a big venue. Sure, they could have saved this for Cork or something, I think very easily. But they decided to put it in a smaller venue, and I thought that was interesting. I wonder how will this match go? What is the participation levels of the world champion compared to the super rookie? You know, former super rookie, obviously, in Utami and Seri Yamaoka. They open up the match very grounded, you know, feeling each other out, trying to figure out what is one, but Utami, you know, the veteran has the control, you know, puts Seri Yamaoka in a one-leg crab, and Yamaoka's got to start looking for answers. As they get to their feet, Utami crushes her with a big forearm, jumps off the rope, but Utami gets knocked with one of those signature awesome drop kicks by one Seri Yamaoka. She answers with an air raid crash on Utami, a signature move of Utami Hayashishita for a nice little near fall. Utami comes back around and does the same to Seri Yamaoka. So there is that comparison there throughout this match of the super rookie versus the super rookie. And this is really where the match begins to lift off. At one point, Seri Yamaoka hits a huge spear, huge spinning spear on Utami, falls up with a great gut wrench that got the crowd really into it. They were impressed by that one for a nice little near fall. But at one point, Utami hits a reverse torture rack bomb where she pretty much just tosses Seri Yamaoka right on her stomach. I was like, ooh, that was a tough one. She ends up tossing Utami right back with a big time German suplex, followed by a nice Northern Lights suplex for a great bridge and near fall. She then follows up going for the Nanai Takahashi splash from the top rope. And this is where kind of her downfall came. She squashed onto the mat and missed that one. From there, forearm to the back of Yamaoka. It looked bad here, but the great struggle, Yamaoka fighting, Yamaoka trying to survive, trying to get out of this. This was a great point of seeing Yamaoka fight out of the German suplex attempt, one that has put many a rookie away by Utami, and I thought that was a terrific spot. She slaps the taste out of Utami's mouth, and that, you know, that might have pissed off Utami, who comes back with a massive lariat, clearing out Yamaoka. Utami hits the deadlift suplex, but we get a kick out, a final gasp from Yamaoka, who is then hit with the BT bomb to fall short for her second straight match. So Yuzuki and Utami pinning Seri Yamaoka. And I think my favorite part about this match, my favorite aspect of this match, is we now know the mountain that Seri Yamaoka is trying to climb. You know, when you beat Mayu Iwatani, you were the first to do so in a Marigold ring. It sets a high standard of, okay, what next? And for Seri Yamaoka, the perfect veteran mountain to climb is none other than the former super rookie, someone that there's obvious comps to, and that is Utami Hayashishita, the Marigold World Champion. That is the story we are now telling here moving forward. While Yuzuki tries to climb the mountain of Mayu Utami, Seri Yamaoka tries to climb the mountain of Utami Hayashishita, and I think it's perfect. This match was very good. Big recommend here. Seri Yamaoka has had such an awesome tournament for her first tournament, for the experience level. She has the inside track on the MVP so far. Now, her and Victoria Yuzuki, I think, are going to be fighting for that towards the very end. But Seri Yamaoka, I thought, crushed it in this match. Utami had a fantastic week between this and the Mio Momono match. Just an absolute star, absolute stud that she continues to be. Like I said, I thought this match was really, really good. Well worth the recommendation. Kind of the perfect start to what this face off can be, what this potential rivalry can be. Quite enjoyed it. Seri Yamaoka is just unbelievably talented, unbelievably special. And Utami's Utami. You know what she's going to do, you know she's going to bring. So a great match there to close out the day 5 edition of the tournament matches. But we had day 6 on Sunday, and that brought us to Rea Seto versus Maria. I had no freaking clue what this match was going to look like. I won't lie to you. I was a little worried what this match is going to look like. Two heels, two brand new heels trying to figure each other out. But there's something beautiful about the ground game and the submission game that they're both very skilled in, that really put this match together and made for a really fun match. This was the best match for either of them so far, probably. I think Seto's match with Mayu's right there as well. But this was a great showing by Maria. Maria kind of played a little bit babyface. Setto played a little bit babyface. You know, there's you gotta play that, but Seto's ability to attack the leg was great. And Maria had such a hot start to the match, you know, kind of just being that jerk, being that heel. But listen, Seto's offense is able to really turn the tide. And I thought that was really good. Continuously taking that leg and continuously destroying it. But at one point, Maria hit this great roll through leap into a drop kick to take Setto out and get back into the fight. She tossed her with a big time German suplex type thing that I liked. But the match turned there when Seri Yamaoka won the last match. Listen, it is late. It's not my fault. When Rea Seto is in and going, and she schoolboys Maria, but instead of pinning her, she locks in a nice leg bar, creating a struggle and really creating the struggle for Maria that we saw throughout the match. She then would remove the knee pad, you know, lift up the pants, remove the knee pad, and then she put that nasty submission where she puts her foot between the back of the knee and just is pulling on poor Maria's leg. Maria is crying in pain and she just gets to the rope. That was a great struggle spot. I love a nice struggle spot like that. Maria is able to survive. Maria hits a nice rocket kick for a nice kick out at one point, but she then stretches Setto in the middle of the ring, leaving Setto just aimless, nowhere to go, and forces her to tap out. This was a great submission based, ground based match that I think these two are going to both be very proud of, honestly, when the whole tournament ends. I didn't know what this was going to look like. Once upon a time, this was going to be Rea Seto versus Senka Akatsuki, a match that I think a lot of people were excited for because of the words they shared after the play in. Listen, for a match that wasn't supposed to happen, for a match that's a heel versus heel, I think these two crushed it and they brought it in a way that I did not expect. They over delivered. They over delivered. Again, it's not a match that I'm going to be like, go out of your way to see it, but it's a good match. It was a quality match. It's a match you want to see from these two in this scenario. And the final match, what comes from the Star League here on the Sunday edition, Mai Sakurai versus Kizuna Tanaka. We have seen this match before. We saw it about a month or two ago on a house show. So how would it look different? Listen, Kizuna Tanaka may not win a match. I don't know. But as we've been talking about with young Marigold, so much of what needs to happen is just growth, right? She just needs to grow along the way. And this match was the clearest sign of growth I thought we've had so far from her. It was easily her best match. And again, it's not a match I'm going to go say, get out of your way to see it. It is fine. It's a fine match, but it's a good performance. And that's, again, what I want to see out of Kizuna Tanaka in these big spots. My Sakurai was bringing it to her in the early going. Here were some nasty strikes to the head, but Kizuna was able to come back. Hit a nice basement drop kick, which was a really nice spot. Then hit a diving crossbody to the outside, bringing it to my Sakurai, bringing it to the United National Champion, having a good performance here. I think that's very important for her. Hitting a nice fisherman suplex, which was then followed by a my Sakurai superplex. Which, anytime with how Kazuna's past injuries with her back, I'm always a little bit scared of, but a great spot nonetheless. Followed that up with a nice forearm trade. Um, I can't read what I wrote, but they start really swinging. And at one point, my Sakurai hits Kizuna with two nasty back suplexes, which start to really get her in. But that was not before Kizuna went to the running knees, as we've seen before. She even hit the redream. She got the redream on my Sakurai for a nice little near fall. I thought that was a nice spot as well. We got a nice other near fall, but in the end, it was my Sakurai hitting the STO on Kizuna Tanaka to get the victory. Not a big shock there. This brings my Sakurai to 3-1 in the tournament, 6 points overall. She's already through 5 matches. My Sakurai has 2 matches left in this tournament, but it's Mikuano and Mirai at the two Corkins. Yeah, the two Corkins. So massive matches for her the rest of the way. Must wins for her, obviously, the rest of the way. Oh wait, Misa Matsui beat her too, right? So she's actually 3-2. My apologies. While Kazuna Tanaka moves to a sad 0-3. But this was the best performance from Kizuna Tanaka so far. Again, you want to see those strides from young Margot, from someone like Kizuna, in a match with someone as big as the United National Champion in my Sakurai. So overall, I was happy with it. I was happy with Kizuna. I hope she's happy with it too, because I think she did a good job. I think my Sakurai did a good job leading her. My Sakurai has shown that that is something she can continuously do with these young wrestlers. So that's awesome to see that she continues to do that, giving Kizuna what I thought was so far her best match. Kizuna's got some other matches left. She's got a match with Mikuano and Mirai and Misa Matsui. I think those 3 matches could be nice shining points for her as well. So we'll see what those look like. But overall, like I said, a good match here. Let's look at the stats real quick now, shall we? Um, Obviously, we like to look at the stats in terms of the why can't I think? Oh, the standings. So in the Dream League, you have as follows: Utami Hayashishita following the win on day 5 against Seri Yamaoka brings her to 6 points, tied with Victoria Yuzuki. If the tournament ended today, Victoria Yuzuki would have the advantage because, of course, she has the win over Utami. Then you have Maria, Mayu Utani, Seri Yamaoka, all with 4 points apiece. In the middle ground, Seri Yamaoka, by the way, is already through 4 of her matches, 2 wins, 2 losses. So we'll see how strong she finishes. Chiaki and Kokimari are with 2 points, and Rea Seto sits at 0 points through 4 matches. In the Star League, Misa Matsui, Mai Sakurai, and Nagisa Nozaki all sit at the top with 6 points apiece. Chanyota still with 4, Mirai with 3, Chikagoto with 2, and Mikuano with 1, while Kizuna sits at the bottom with 0. As we like to do here, I don't think I did this last time, but we're back with the worth the watch matches. These are my favorite matches so far from the tournament that I think you should go out of your way to see if you haven't already. Starting with the Great Calm, we're still pretty early in this tournament, but from day 1, my Sakurai versus Chanyota, and as well as Mayu Utani versus Seri Yamaoka, also from day 1 of action. We're in the very good column. We have a new addition here from the day 5 of action, but we'll start at the top. Utami Hayashishita versus Victoria Yuzuki from day 1. Victoria Yuzuki versus Seri Yamaoka from day 4. And Utami Hayashishita versus Seri Yamaoka. That's a spelling mistake that's going to bother the hell out of me, so I'll point it out myself and make fun of myself. But that match was well worth your time. The continuation of Seri Yamaoka's really great tournament. There's 5 matches here, if you can see. Seri Yamaoka has 3 of them. That's just the way it is. Utami's got 2. You Yuzuki's got 2. You get my point. But really, really strong match here. Quite enjoyed it. Let's look at the MVP race here before we wrap things up on the latest review of the Dream Star. So, as you can see here, the averages are strong. For some, Victoria Yuzuki is in second at 3.50, while Seri Yamaoka leads the way at a 3.56. That is the clear MVP for me thus far. Really have enjoyed her matches. I know, big shock, big stunner. But Utami's having a good tournament as well so far. 3.31. Obviously, a big match with Mayu coming up. I think that's her next match. I don't know, but I think it's her next match. But we do have one more show coming up here on 8/22. Actually, no, we Utami will face Maria on that show while Koki Amari faces Victoria Yuzuki. That's also the homecoming show of Chikagoto taking on Mayu Utami, which we will review. That'll be a bonus review next this upcoming weekend. I'll make sure to include that for all of you. That'll be a fun one. So we'll review 3 matches on that review. And then, of course, after that is the Cork. In terms of the Star League MVP, right now it would be Miku Ano, who's wrestled 2 total matches. But hey, that's just the way it goes. My Sakurai probably the main one you want to go to there through 5 matches. But she has her 2 biggest ones left. So that'll be interesting how that goes. But that is it from me here. Thank you everyone for listening. If you listen to this, if you listen to the 5-star daily review later on, it means the world to me. I'm recording these at 3, 4 in the morning because hey, I just love doing them. I love doing it instant reaction type so I can get my full thoughts out there. So thank you everyone for your support. Please let me know what you're thinking so far of the Dream Star Grand Prix, what match you're most excited for coming up. Leave a comment, does the world of good for us. Also, make sure you press that like button. Again, does the world of good for me, gets this out there. I know not a lot, I don't know how many people cover Marigold, but I really do enjoy diving into this incredible roster and what they're creating and what is going on differently, obviously, from the big time other tournament with the 5-star Grand Prix. So please, please, please press a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking so far. Let me know what your favorite match is so far as well, now that we're through 6 days of the tournament. Thank you, everyone, for listening. I wish you all the best. We'll be back for more Dream Star action next weekend. We'll be back in a few hours for the 5-star Grand Prix review as well. We'll be back on Wednesday with more 5-star, on Friday with uh, the 5-star Joshi show, and so much more. So tune in for all of that. So much to go over. We appreciate all the support. Means the world to me, like I said. So thank you, everyone. And until next time, so long. See you later.